Part played by former boldwood in Far from the Madding Crowd. Thomas Hardy. Thomas Hardy was an English novelist and a poet, a Victorian realist. He was influenced both in his novels and in his poetry by Romanticism. He was influenced especially by William Wordsworth. Thomas Hardy's important novels are Judge the Obscure, Tess of the D'Urbervilles, The Mayor of Casterbridge. The last one is Thomas Hardy's The Far from the Madding Crowd. The important characters in Far from the Madding Crowd are Bathsheba Everton, Gabriel Vogue, Sergeant Roy, Farmer Boldwood, Fanny Robin. The minor characters are Liddy Smallberry, Jan Cogan, Joseph Poorgrass, Caney Bell, and the last Penny Weiss. Let's focus on Farmer Boldwood's appearance. He was a gentlemanly man with distinctly outlined Roman features. He was erect in attitude and quiet in demeanor. One characteristic preeminently marked him is the dignity. Generous. William Boldwood has much of the generous helpfulness towards the loved one. For instance, his chivalrous conspiracy with Vogue to keep from Troy's wife and a knowledge of the story of Fanny Robin. Absorbing passion. He was driven on by Bathsheba's girlish prank with the Valentine. Boldwood loses his self-control. His actions are motivated by an obsession which leads to murder and insanity. Of Boldwood. Mr. Boldwood is a respectable, handsome farmer who is in charge of Lower Farm, not far from Bathsheba's farm in Waterbury. He has never married and has never really been in love. He was responsible for Fanny Robin for a time, undertaking responsibilities for her schooling and then her place at Bathsheba's uncle's home. Turning point. Boldwood's crucial turning point in the novel is the Valentine that Bathsheba sends off to him, provoking a years-long adoration and obsession, one that slowly disintegrates into madness. The Valentine opens Boldwood's eyes to the world of women and disrupts his decades-long habit of stability and solemnity. Boldwood's love for Bathsheba takes on disturbing features as he tries to extract promises from Bathsheba even when it causes her distress. Boldwood's increasingly serious mental disturbance, though, is paired with the sincere love for Bathsheba, one that finally gives her freedom even at the expense of his own. Timeline. Farmer Boldwood shows up at Bathsheba's door asking whether anyone has heard news about a disappeared servant named Fanny Robin. Bathsheba is curious about who the man is, and her servants are quick to tell her that he is the most wanted bachelor in the town. Bathsheba's curiosity about Boldwood only gets stronger when she notices that of all the men in the marketplace, Boldwood is the only one who doesn't stare at her. This hurts Bathsheba's pride very much. On Valentine's Day, Bathsheba decides to play a trick on Boldwood by mailing him a valentine that says, "Marry me." When he receives the valentine anonymously, Boldwood doesn't know what to make of it, but after asking around, he learns that the writing belongs to Bathsheba and becomes totally obsessed with her. He even marches right up to her house and asks her to marry him, thinking that her message was sincere. When Bathsheba rejects him, Boldwood gets mad at her for leading him on. He also decides that he is not going to give up on her so easily. Things get difficult for Boldwood when the young Sergeant Roy shows up in the town and steals Bathsheba's heart. Boldwood feels that Troy has stolen Bathsheba from him, although Troy is quick to remind him that she was never his to begin with. Boldwood tries to pay Sergeant Troy to go away and leave Bathsheba alone, but he soon realizes that Troy and Bathsheba are already married and that his scheme is not useful. He returns to his home to live a broken life. When he hears that Sergeant Troy has drowned, Boldwood wastes no time moving back in on Bathsheba and making her promise to become engaged to him. She doesn't give him straight answer yes or no, but he totally gets his hopes up. At his Christmas party, Boldwood is about to announce his engagement with Bathsheba when Sergeant Troy shows up back from the dead. Overcome with rage and humiliation, Boldwood takes out a shotgun and blasts Troy into the next world. Boldwood then tries to kill himself with the gun, but he is stopped. After he turns himself to police, Boldwood avoids his execution, but at the last second he gets pardoned for being insane. Turns out that back at his house he has lot of boxes labeled Bathsheba Boldwood that show just how crazy his fantasy about Bathsheba has gotten over the years. The above quote explains, it seems like he sits down and has supper in the same way every night and is very independent. Maybe he and Bathsheba would be good for each other since they both act independently. This passage foreshadows the unavoidable demise of Boldwood's chances with Bathsheba and gives the reason he failed to feed the need of Bathsheba's vanity. This is the pictorial representation of novel's resolution. The following characters are dead: Frances Troy, Fanny Robin, and her baby William Boldwood. Thank you.